what makes this massively unfair, I want them so badly. But at 25, I have stated multiple times, when you can buy them, 45 or above is a no-brainer. That is fine. Anything less than 30, it's not worth picking it up. It is a giant waste for the bonus up here. That's borderline acceptable if you desperately need one. Because you can, of course, increase that percentage, it goes up to 60, by infusing another one into it. But I can't resist, I must have these. There we go, they're mine now.
Oh, wow, sweet thing.
Using 10 of the live heart cells that you can only get by vanquishing a tech rot Coda. Oh, yeah, they didn't equip in the slightest, did you? Full auto trigger mode. And let's not sugarcoat this, shall we not? Does a total of 50 damage. No, it doesn't. It does a total of 62.5 because the radiation, the massive 25.1%, is actually added on top of that 50 and is 12.5. Comes with a dash polarity. Unique trait. Enemies damaged by the dual Torxica spread 3 spores on death? Ooh! Which will inflict cold damage, cold status chance, cold damage, same kind of thing. Additional shot to infected enemies inflicts 1.5 times damage. Oh, these things are just absolutely screaming insanely powerful. And it's not needed, but I'm sorry, I'm going to throw that in there anyway because it'll take the magazine from 160 to 248. As expected, just like the other adversary weaponry, max rank, because you're going to have to come in and former it. In all brutal honesty, I started with these things that were fine up until about level 80 enemies, and using the, I'm just going to put it as the age-old crit build, they were kind of fine. I wish I had a Riven that increased the crit chance and crit damage though, because once you get to level 120 or above, these things become very lackluster very quickly. Meaning for 90% of the gameplay that is out there, prior to Steel Path, these things are perfectly fine. They will work wonders. Then you get into the Steel Path side of things and they will start to struggle ever so slightly. The only saving feature to them is, inflicts a spore that spreads to nearby enemies upon them. You killing an enemy that causes a cold status that slows them down, can actually freeze them. At least it looks like they're frozen. They have the freezing effect on them, but they still move. And increases their vulnerability to damage from the dual Coda Torxica. It actually doesn't say that. It says something along the lines of it increases the vulnerability to damage from the Torxica. But this is the dual wielding Torxica. Yeah, so it's the same weapon. I kind of wish that was just a thing that worked on all weapons, because getting that effect on them and quickly swapping to anything else would have increased the damage of these so much. But considering this was one of 3 new Coda based weapons, they were not as good as I was hoping they were going to be. I came into these things thinking they'd be amazing. I've tried them with more multi-shot, I've tried them with status instead of crit. The only thing that seems to make these things a lot better is increasing the multi-shot, then increase the fire rate, give him some kind of status effect, which of course it has because it's a Coda based weapon, it's an adversary weapon, so if you swap that element to match the element that you are going up against using that thing you get from Eleanor, that I cannot remember the name of ever, then they're not so bad. But as one of the 3 new weapons, and considering we have the Motivore as well as these, they don't really, sadly, have a place. If they had have kept a hold of them and released them as a separate grouping of Coda weapons in a month's time, these things would have actually been so much better, because they wouldn't have had to compete with every other weapon that comes out at the same time. 13 may have been too much because they concentrate on so many other ones. One of the new ones, like the dual Coda Torxica, that should have been an amazing weapon, was vastly overlooked. It has a fairly slow fire rate. I mean, 6 isn't really that much, especially since it has a magazine of 160. That makes no sense to me. They've given it a big magazine and then no fire rate. Yes, you can shoot forever with these things, which is great because you can keep the cold status effect that increases the vulnerability on the go. The damage numbers will go up. I have seen these things do 1,000,000 damage. But you've got to get it there, and it's getting it there that can sometimes be slightly problematic. I love dual wielding weapons. I just wish these had more of a quicker fire rate. It's the 6 fire rate that kind of ruined these for me. They don't do enough damage quick enough for the effect to kick in before the higher level enemies are basically ending your existence. It's a bit of a shame. I do still like them, but you have to be really careful with them because the fire rate is just way too low on these for something that has a magazine of 160. It needed to be quicker. Put some fire rate mods in, it does help, but you will sacrifice damage to do so. Worth picking up, but just do not pick it up with a bonus of 25.1%. I massively regret that and have avoided upgrading it since, because so far I have 3 of the weapons at 60%. I think I'll put off doing that with these for now. I'll probably get there eventually, but for now, I will leave this off. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.